Welcome everyone to another edition of Just United, and I say that with a smile on my face after such a wonderful week for Manchester United. Probably one of the busiest in the season so far, 3 games in 1 week, and it all started on Monday evening in the FA Cup at the Greenhouse Meadow against Shrewsbury Town. Heading into the game, United hadn't won in 3 games. We'd drawn against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, then we went on and lost against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, and then we lost on that Thursday evening against FC Midtjylland. Morale was rock bottom pretty much, and I think all of us United fans were calling for Van Gaal's head. We wanted him to be gone. And then came along Shrewsbury. I think the majority of us thought, yeah, we're probably going to get knocked out here by Shrewsbury. They'd be fancying their chances. Bets were probably put on for Shrewsbury to maybe nick a 1-0 win, or maybe even force the game into a replay at Old Trafford, simply because of all the injuries and, of course, how United were going about business in those previous games with how slow their play was. But I think not much can really be said about Monday. I mean, Shrewsbury, I like to keep an eye on what Shrewsbury do and everything, and I did kind of expect a bit more from them, but I think they showed United a bit too much respect. I think even though it's difficult seeing that Manchester United is one of the biggest teams in the world, but to some extent the players had to try and forget who their opponents were, try and put it to the back of their mind, and just go for it, unleash hell on the opposition. But, you know, it's been a bit of an occurring problem for Shrewsbury throughout this season in League One. They get the ball, they give it away as quick as possible. They just can't seem to retain possession as much and to recycle the ball as well as you'd want them to. And I think maybe if they got down to a bit of retaining possession against United, maybe they could have had a couple more better chances. I mean, in the first half they were poor, Shrewsbury. In the second half, yeah, I think there was an improvement. They did get a few more shots away than in the first. But for Manchester United, 2-0 up at half-time. United were sailing, and then Lingard wrapped things up at the Greenhouse at the other end, making it 3-0. So a good win at the Greenhouse Meadow, and it's what was expected of United, even with all the injuries. I mean, we said that last week on Just United after that game against Midtjylland. You know, even with all the injuries, you would expect United to come out on top, but I suppose that's what football's all about. It's the unexpected. But, you know, a team that's in poor form in League One, I mean, even though they'd beaten Blackpool previous going into the game against United, you know, you'd expect Manchester United to come out on top. Then up next for United, it was the return of the Europa League on Thursday night. It was the second leg against FC Midtjylland. On aggregate 2-1, we had to really force ourselves to come from behind. We had to just pull out all the stops and make sure that we could overturn that to get through to the next round. And things started off horribly. I thought, oh, here we go again. Just as we've beaten Shrewsbury on the Monday, things are just not going our way. Murphy's Law all over again, just like the previous Thursday, with Sisto getting on the score sheet, making it 1-0 and 3-1 on aggregate. Become the 90th minute, final score was Manchester United 5, Midtjylland 1. Where did that come from? Fantastic stuff from United. We did have a little help from Midtjylland as they scored a no goal in the, I think it was the 30th minute, the 32nd minute, something like that. Can't quite remember the player that had put it into the back of his own net, but it gave us confidence then, and it just opened up the floodgates for United. But before the rest of the goals in the second half, we were given a penalty before half-time. Mata stepped up to take it. Now, on any other given day, you would expect Mata to just put that one away, make it 2-1, no hesitation whatsoever, but what does he do? It's like the world's slowest penalty. I'm surprised it's not going to be published in the next Guinness World Book of Records. It was just ridiculous. I was quite surprised at how slow he took that penalty. Bit of confidence about Mata, though, when he did step up and take it, but it's just unbelievable. We should have made it 2-1 there. It could have ended 6-1 if Mata had converted that penalty. But anyway, all that behind us, we had to improve in the next half. We had to really overturn that because with Midtjylland scoring that goal in the first half, it rolled out our away goal. So we had a lot more work to do. Typical United, isn't it? Always making things more difficult for ourselves. But the mood was lifted at Old Trafford as Marcus Rashford, the youngster, fantastic. I think there was a few ums and ahs at the time when he was selected because Martial was set to start for United before he got injured in the pre-warm-up and everything, just like De Gea on the previous week at Midtjylland. I was thinking to myself, oh, here we go again. Here's another, first team player that we're going to miss for the important Arsenal game on the Sunday. But Marcus Rashford, fantastic. Scored 2 goals on his European debut for Manchester United. Absolutely superb, making it 3-1. And can I just say, Memphis was superb. And that's great to see, because recently Memphis was finding it difficult, and it was getting increasingly difficult as the season's been going on to get into the first team, because quite frankly, his performances before that Shrewsbury game and the Midtjylland game this past Thursday were shoddy. They were poor. But, he's been given another chance. He seems rejuvenated now and raring to go for this last bit of the season, and he's doing well. He seems to have turned a corner. I say that with my fingers crossed. So yeah, he went on to score the 5th and final goal. Final score 5-1 against Midtjylland. We absolutely blitzed them in that second half. Turned on the magic as well, with Memphis mainly leading the line in that department. And yeah, he deserved his goal. Fully deserved it. And it was a nice finish to cap a decent performance off for United. Certainly sign of things to come, I hope, again. But yeah, it was enough, a 5-1 win. I think it was enough to just overhaul the deficit of that 2-1 loss against Midtjylland. We are through to the next round, and we have since been drawn against Liverpool. First leg will be played at Anfield, so the slight advantage is to us. We need to go there, we need to grab a goal or two. It'd be nice if we could win as well. And it's going to be the first time both Liverpool and United have faced each other in Europe, so it's going to be an interesting time. Looking forward to it. It's going to be towards the start of March, so not long to wait. It'll be here before you know it. Up next for Manchester United, it was the Premier League fixture at home against Arsenal. What a game this was. In my last Just United episode, when I was joined by 30Gamer89, we had a look at our next 6 fixtures, which at the time was against Shrewsbury, Midtjylland, Arsenal, Watford, West Brom and Palace. Who would have thought that our first 3 games from that list would all be wins? I mean, what a win today. I'm saying this right after the game against Arsenal at Old Trafford. What a win. What a performance. It was like United of old. I had goosebumps when that final whistle was blown by the referee. When I saw Sir Alex up on the TV singing along to Glory, Glory United. It's just like United of old. It was fantastic. I mean, Marcus Rashford came into the starting lineup. After his performance on the Thursday, I wanted him to start against Arsenal on Sunday. I think it would have been a different story if Martial had have started. Nothing against the lad. Still think he's got a lot to learn. So has Marcus Rashford. Oh, Marcus Rashford has got a long way to go. But Rashford showed great awareness today. Great positional sense. Something I think Martial's been lacking for this season. Something he will, I'm sure, work on, and I'm sure will get better at as the seasons go on for Manchester United. But Marcus Rashford, it's just a dream come true for this lad. And nothing beats seeing a young player come up through the academy to break out into the first team and to be scoring quality goals again in such a high profile match against some of the top teams in the Premier League. It's fantastic to see. And I'm sure there will be doubters saying, oh, it's the next Makeda moment. But I don't think it is. I think Rashford has showed great quality in these last 2 games. And, you know, if Martial's going to be out injured maybe for the next 4 games, I hope he's not. But if he is, then I'm feeling confident that Rashford can carry on with this kind of form. 2 games, 4 goals. Fantastic stuff. Also today against Arsenal, we showed great intensity, and I love that. That's what we want to be seeing, and I just hope we're not going to forget that when we come to play Watford next, when we play West Brom, when we play Palace. You know, the smaller teams in the Premier League, we need to stay consistent, we need to stay on top of that and make sure that we're getting those 3 points. And then no doubt we'll be up in top 4, top 3. Okay, games are quickly running out in the Premier League, but I think there's still enough time to try and snatch 4th spot, to maybe even catch 3rd, because we've took 3 points off Arsenal today. We can start closing that gap. Maybe this will have a knock-on effect with Arsenal. That would be brilliant, right? But who knows? I think for now we can open another eye and just focus on that 4th spot. We got the Liverpool games coming up in the Europa League. Just got to keep going for it now, and the more the youngsters get in on the action as well for United, I think the better. It can only have a positive effect. I mean, you saw what we did today against Arsenal. If we can continue that, then I think, yeah, we'll be good come the end of the season. And I think Van Gaal's job is safe for now after these 3 wins in a row. What a week. Finished on a high for Manchester United, and we can start the week with smiles on our faces. Monday doesn't seem so bad after all. Really looking forward to our next couple of games now, especially against Watford, West Brom and Palace. Considering this little bit of form that we found ourselves in, if we can keep it going, then there should be no reason why we can't get 9 points out of 3. Fingers crossed. Guys, that's going to be it for this edition of Just United. Hope you've all enjoyed my little summary, would you say, of one of the most important weeks of the season for Manchester United. Maybe in the next episode I'll be joined by a guest. Be sure not to miss it, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching / listening. Bye.